all of the time. So welcome to the session. I'm Pauline Logan. I manage the Women in Business Network for the Leo in Dublin City. And Aoife Salizzo is one of our members. She's a business consultant with expertise in bringing clarity to complex problems and with a strong technical and business background. She established her company, We Make Everything Simple, last year. So like a lot of very brave entrepreneurs got started during the pandemic. And I think you found, Aoife, there's a lot of demand for a service, somebody who really knows what they're doing to help on, managing projects, helping from larger companies, smaller companies, NGOs, to basically to manage tenders, to solve problems maybe that they don't have the time or the expertise internally to do. She worked in the past in Ernst & Young, and she worked in the ESB and was a power trader at Gay Electric. Sounds fascinating. I don't even know. I didn't know that job existed. So she's an engineer, and she has an MSc in energy management, and former president of Engineers Without Borders in Ireland. So I'm going to hand you over now to Aoife. I think the session's being recorded. I think we're going to gather the questions, and Aoife's going to answer them at the end. Now, if there's something very urgent as we're going through it, if you put it in the chat, and I'll put it to Aoife. But we'll definitely have time at the end for questions and answers. So if you put in questions during the talk, we'll put them at the end, or if you have questions, then you can put them. So I'll hand you over now to Aoife Salizzo. Thank you, Aoife.
Thank you, Pauline. Thank you for that lovely introduction. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you everyone for joining. I know there's hot competition going on with the other talks, so it's great to have you here. I'm going to share my screen now, and hopefully you will be able to see these slides. Okay. So I can't see you anymore. So Pauline, maybe jump in if there are some urgent questions, because I can't see those in the chat. So okay, great. Okay. So the brief for today is first steps in digitalization for SMEs. Well, if you are here and you've managed to log in and join us today, then I think we can consider that you have the first step covered. Check, we're digitalized. Bearing in mind that we all have that baseline, I thought the most valuable use of our time today would be to bring you on a little bit of a tour of some of the best free and low-cost resources out there to help you run your business, to make things a little bit more smooth, get rid of some of the grunt work maybe, and help you produce more kind of slick, polished content. I believe that we're living in something of a golden age at the moment in terms of the resources that are available to us. There's some really high-tech quality material out there for people who are starting up businesses or running businesses. Oftentimes it's free as well because of the business models they're using. They're generating revenue through advertising or larger paying customers, and also they're designed for the layperson, so you don't need to be an expert to get up and running on these things, and they're designed to be very intuitive. So this is what we'll be doing today. We're taking a helicopter tour of some of the best resources that are out there. We're not going to drill down too deeply into any one in particular, because as I said, they're mostly pretty intuitive to get set up on, and there's YouTube videos and tutorials galore available. So that's not what today is about. I will give you like a sense, I guess, of how I use them to give you some ideas, but yeah, we won't be drilling down. Today is really about window shopping. We are going to scan the landscape. If you have somewhere to take notes, you can jot down any of the resources that you think would be useful to you, and you can come back to them later. Pauline will also be sharing some links in the chat, so feel free to minimize me. I won't be insulted, and you can be signing up to things as we go along. The idea today is for you to be able to use this in a way that you're getting the best value from this time. So I'm just going to jump back in here and see, Pauline, if there are any questions or anything. Are we happy to fire on?
Yeah, don't think that there aren't any questions there yet, so fire on, I would say.
Okay, great stuff. So we are going to start off with the fundamentals, so some basic building block kind of tools, and then we're going to work down into some slightly more specific resources. Okay, so kicking off the fundamentals, spreadsheets and forms. Okay, I know you're not here to hear about Excel. I'm sure a lot of you use it maybe on a daily basis, but I have this here because I feel that a lot of people are really not getting their bang for buck from this resource. You wouldn't believe the number of businesses, even really large enterprises, that are still running a lot of their systems and processes on spreadsheets, either Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. So why I have this up here today is because I want to encourage you to invest a little bit of time in upskilling in these tools and really building your confidence so that you can squeeze the juice out of them. I've done a lot of Excel training courses. Some of them have cost, thousands of euro and been in person in town. But the very, very best Excel training course I've ever done was on YouTube. And it was free. You can follow along at your own pace. It starts at the very, very beginning. So even if you have no background, you'll be able to follow along. You can download the workbook so that you can follow along with the trainer and really practice as you're going along. So Pauline's going to share the link to that, and I would highly encourage you to invest an hour of your life in upskilling on this basic resource. I think it will pay dividends forevermore. It certainly has for me. So next up are Google Forms. Forms are, or rather forms in general, forms are useful if you want to gather information from a large group of people, perhaps customers or potential customers. So the two big players here are Google Forms and SurveyMonkey. So a lot of you potentially have used one of these two when you were starting out your business, maybe to do some market research, but I just want to show you some ways that you might continue to use it now. So I'm just going to actually walk you through this. So we're going to do a little bit of a demo here and jump into Google Forms. So in case anyone doesn't know where to find it, you just go into your Gmail account, which you can set up for free if you are setting up an @gmail.com. If you want to set up @yourbusinessname.com, you pay a small fee. And then we go to the dots up here and we can scroll down. And in fact, just to show you Sheets here as well, which we were speaking about. So you can go into Sheets. This is where you'll find that. There's also loads of free templates available there, which are an amazing resource. Or you can set up a blank one. So that's Google Sheets, which we just talked about. And then if you want to go into Forms, you click the dots again and just scroll down to Google Forms. So once you're in here, you can pick one of the templates, or you can set up your own blank form. So we'll just look at a template here. So we have a nice one already set up for customer feedback. And then you can go in and edit it. So you can, did you like National Women's Enterprise Day this year? You can do multiple choice. Yes, best day of my life. Terrible. What you could go in and edit things. Maybe you want people to write a little paragraph instead, or a short answer. If you don't want to question, you can just delete it. If you want to say that people have to answer a particular question, you can click required, and that'll give us that little arrow. We can be changing colors, and you can change the image here, pick a new one. And so yeah, this is really simple and intuitive to use. Once you have your form set up, you just go to send, and you can email it to people directly, or you'll find a link which you can just copy and share with anyone. So actually, I might just to demonstrate that, I might just share that now in the chat. So anyone can go in and answer that form, and then I'll get all your responses in if you were to answer. Yep, that's all available to me. So some examples of how I use this. So one way I use forms is to gather initial requirements from customers. So I find that it's very useful if potential customers can write down exactly what it is that they want you to do. It's great to have that in writing. It's great to give them an opportunity to think about it. So if you're the kind of business where that might be useful, this is one suggested way to use Google Forms. Another way I use them is for feedback. So Pauline, would you mind just maybe muting yourself while I'm talking? I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
Sure. Okay. No problem.
Great. Thank you. Okay. So another way I use the forms is for feedback. Oh, I'm still getting some feedback.
I haven't done it yet, but there aren't any sounds here, mind you.
Oh, I'm just here. Okay. If there's none for you, then we'll fire on. So if you're someone that cringes at the thought of asking people for a testimonial and sending that email saying please write something really nice about you, then feedback forms are a really great way to address that. So this is the feedback form that I use. I send it to every customer that I've worked with, and I just after I finished up a project, send them an email saying great to work with you. I'm always looking for ways to improve my service. Would love to get some feedback from you on how you got on. And then, you can include your little space there to get a testimonial, and you can gather all the information here as well about whether you can share their photo, etc. So Google Forms, lovely little resource. I think often overlooked, but there's some ideas for ways in which you might like to use it. Okay, so SurveyMonkey then is your other option. It's a bit more snazzy. You can do up to 10 questions for free if you're looking for 40 or under responses, and after that you need to pay. It's €36 a month, which is spicy enough, so you want to make sure that you're really getting value from it. Okay, so that's forms. Next up, we're going to look at some design resources. So the first one here is one that I'm sure most of you have probably already used if you've set up a business, and that is Canva. If you haven't used it, 100% check it out. And if you are already using it, I'd encourage you to go in, look at the templates and see how else you can be using it. I did that the other day and discovered they have lovely Zoom virtual background templates. So I created one with my logo. So there's lots of inspiration in there. And just for anyone who maybe hasn't had a look at it yet, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a tour. So this is Canva. I just created a sample account here yesterday, a free one. So when you log in, this is what it looks like. You have all the templates here. And you can go and work from any one of those templates, or you can look up something specific. One of the ways I love to use Canva is to create cover sheets for reports. So whenever I am creating a report now, or a tender, an application, a submission, any sort of content that I'm sending out, I will come into Canva and make a cover sheet. And it really, I think it makes a lot of difference. It really helps things look more polished. So I'll just go in, I'll search for reports. Canva will give me a load of templates then, and I'll just scan down, find something that looks good. I will go in here then, and I can just, start making changes. So National Women's Enterprise Day 2021. I have a lot of things open here, so this might be a bit slower, but you get the picture. You can go in there and edit away to your heart's content, and you can add new pictures. The amount of pictures they have up in Canva at the moment is really quite extraordinary. I was looking, I was doing a report and I needed a photo of a corner in Portobello, and really didn't expect that would be available on Canva, but extraordinarily it was. So, Women in Enterprise Day, we'll look up pictures of women. So it'll give us, photos, graphics, videos, audio. Let's go in photos. We can just go and replace them like that. We can change the colors. You can have your logo uploaded there. So I've got my logo here. I'll stick that in. Canva does something really nice where it will pick up on any pictures that you've got in your on your sheet, and it'll make those available to you. So look, it's picked out all the colors from my logo here, and I can go and make the changes and, you know, come up with something that looks quite professional. And then what I normally do when I'm using this for a cover sheet is I'll just do a screen grab of that, or I will download just that front page as an image. So download front page, and rather than a PDF, I'll download it as a high quality image, download, and then I'll just copy and paste that into my Word document. Or you can create the whole thing in here in Canva. So that's one suggested way to use Canva, which is a really spectacular resource. Another nice design resource that's available is Unsplash. That's just a repository of photographs. Canva has gotten so good, I rarely use Unsplash anymore, but it might be useful to you. They're in there, they're freely available because they make their money via advertising on the platform, and there's also sorts of really specific pictures in there. Some ideas from Canva, they're just some of their templates that are available that might act as inspiration to you. And this is the pricing. The example that I was showing you there, that was all for free. Some of the images you'll find will have this little pro sticker. That means that you need to pay for a pro version. So it's, I think, €12 a month if you're paying. If you're billing monthly, it's €110 if you're getting the year in one go. I've paid for this resource because I just find Canva absolutely invaluable. Okay, and then Unsplash there as well as another option. You can use all of their images for commercial use as well. It's all in their licensing agreements there. Okay, how are we doing, Pauline? Oh, you're on mute, but sorry.
We're doing okay. We had a couple of questions there. Maybe we'll look at those before we move on. There was one about, Eva was asking about with the forms, what do you do with the data?
What do you, sorry, I just see Google Forms.
So how do you store customer? Yeah, how do you store customer data? You know, that's in the forms, and how do you with customer confidentiality issues?
Yes, so they various privacy settings there that you can set up, and people can respond anonymously. You can set, you know, configure that, that people don't need to enter their name and date if you wish, like their name, any personal information. Yeah, and then it's there. The information is available to you in a spreadsheet, and you would deal with that in the same way as you would with anyone else's, any other database you have of personal information.
Data that you have. Yeah. Isabel just put in there, she looked into it, and it looks like it's stored in your drive, and it's based on the cloud, you know, on the Google Cloud agreement that you sign when you sign up. So very good. Okay. Sorry for interrupting.
No, thank you. That's brilliant. That was a very good question. Okay. We'll power on to everyone's favorite topic, finances. So I'm not an accountant, so you will have to bear that in mind, but I'm just going to share with you some of the resources that I find are useful to me. Oh, I think I have a bit of feedback there again. Sorry, Pauline. Okay. So there are a number of software platforms available that will cover all your accounting needs, and they'll do, you know, payroll and all sorts of things. And you can see you pay monthly or annually for these services. So there's some of the big names that are available, and that's their price per month. A lot of you, though, myself included, aren't at the point yet where that makes sense. So for me, I manage all my money in and money out in Excel. I just keep that all in Excel. I have my budgets in Excel as well. you saw when I showed you Google Sheets earlier, there are some really nice templates in there. But I'm sure already everyone has their own system for that, you know. You could check out those templates though if you want to upgrade yours, or if you're just starting out. What I do use one of these platforms for, however, is invoicing. And I do this for two reasons. One, because it makes life a lot simpler. I have all my information stored there. Things are automated. Invoice numbering is automated. I get notifications when I need to send people receipts. So I just really like how that's all streamlined for me. But I also use one of these resources for invoicing because I find it's nice to have a little bit of separation between you and the money, you know? So the platform I'm going to show you now, if someone hasn't paid within the specified period of time, you can set it up so that it'll send them an automatic reminder. And I just find that kind of thing is it's easier if someone is getting an automatic reminder that they have forgotten to pay rather than you having to write an email, which can, you know, be a bit awkward. And so this is the resource I use for that. Full disclosure, I actually use one of the predecessors because this wasn't available at the time, but this resource is free if you are earning less than 43 grand in revenue per annum. So I find this is great for anyone who's starting out and wants to find some kind of a platform for their invoicing. So I'm just going to give you a really quick tour of how that works. So this is the Zoho Books dashboard.
Sorry, Aoife, you need to share your screen there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oops, daisies. Share screen.
Okay.
Oh, I hope you might have missed this slide as well. So I'm just going to quickly finances. These are some of the paid up services that are available in the market, and this is the one that's free if you're earning less than 43k per annum, $50,000, I think it is. So here we have Zoho Books. If you want to create an invoice, so this, it does take a little bit of time to get used to and to get set up on, but I have found it to be absolutely worth it. So I'll just show you how I would create a new invoice. This is a sample account I've set up here, all for free, just to give you an idea of how it works. So I go into invoices, I create a new invoice. I can select a customer. So you can have all your customers preloaded in here, or, you know, add a new customer. So this is the great National Women's Enterprise Day example company. It'll pre-populate my invoice with all their details. It'll automatically set an invoice number. I can specify when they need to pay, 30 days. Okay, automatically it gives them the due date there. You know, nice hats. We can subject of the invoice, and then you add your items, wool, 5, you know, balls of wool at €5 pop, and it'll calculate everything for me. I can decide if I want to give a discount. So let's give a 20% discount. I can add in any tax information there, you know, if you're charging VAT, labor, and it took us maybe, let's say, 11 hours. I'm sorry, I'm not a knitter, and we'll charge €45 an hour. And then, so this gives the total here. You can add any little notes. You can add terms and conditions. You can set up your account so that your customers can pay using their card via Stripe. That's really nice and really encourages people to pay immediately when they know they don't need to mess around with their bank account. Hide. And then we just save and send. So we're just going to, who's this? Yeah, okay, great. We'll just send the invoice. Away it goes. This should be arriving in here. I'm the customer now. I will hopefully receive this invoice. Great, there it is. And I can go in and pay straight away. It'll attach a PDF as well. And so they have all their information there. So if you're doing a lot of invoicing, this is something I'd recommend checking out. Okay. If you have just re-entered the real world and you're looking to charge people, SumUp is a great resource. Here's one I prepared earlier. So this is a SumUp device. I think they're going for around €30 at the moment. And you set up an app, you download an app on your phone, and then you can charge people using this little device. Very simply, they can tap or enter their card. I got one when I was running yoga classes because I didn't want to seem like a scam artist charging cash only. I wanted to be able to upsell yoga mats. And so it's just a really simple little useful resource if you want to get up and running payments. Oh, I hear some noise there. Okay, yeah. So yeah.
Sorry, we have about 12 minutes left, Aoife. So just conscious of time to maybe walk through as quickly as we can so we can get down,
Sure.
to be ashamed to not get to the end.
Yeah,
so
we'll fire through. Okay, so for scheduling meetings, Calendly is the best resource I've come across to date. I'm going to very quickly just give you a little peek into Calendly. So this is a free account that I've just set up. Calendly then will give you so it will give you a little link that you can send to people to schedule in meetings. It will connect to your calendar so it knows all of your availability, and you can also block out certain windows when you want to that you want to make available. So I'll just show you what the person sees when you send them a link. They will see this booking page and they will see all your availability. So I've said, look, I don't want any meetings on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And also if we go into any of these days, it'll know to block out times that aren't free in my calendar. So the person can go in, pick a slot, enter their details. If it's a phone call, they can enter their phone number and so on and so forth. Calendly, if you're scheduling meetings, I recommend you go in and check that one out. It saves a lot of back and forth as well with, are you free on Tuesday? No, I'm not free on Tuesday. How about Thursday morning? That kind of thing. Great way to sidestep that. And their free service, you can do most things on their free subscription service. There's their pricing as well. So if you go for a premium option, it's €8 a month. But as I said, most things you can do for free. Sales. Okay, so as Pauline knows, I actually delivered this talk or a version of it once before to Pauline's Women in Business group. And of all the resources that I shared, this was the one that actually got the most engagement. So this is a homemade register of leads, or CRM, customer relationship management system. So to give you some background on this, when I was starting out my business, I had a moment where I was whinging to my sister about, being worried I wasn't going to have any customers or having no leads. And she stopped me in my tracks, sat me down, opened an Excel spreadsheet, and helped me build this register of leads. So I've built a little sample one there, which Pauline is going to share the link for. So this is basically a place to list everyone that you come across that could be a potential customer. And then you define whether they're hot, warm, or they could be cold. So cold leads might be people you've, say, found on Google that you think would be great target customers, but you haven't actually you haven't met them yet. So you have all your contacts here, and then this is the magic bit. You need to record every time you reach out to them. So you meet someone in the meet and greet room today, and you enter them in here. You follow up with an email, put in the date, and then you need to follow. You follow up with the call. So you put in the date, email, call, and you can keep going on this trend until someone says, please stop contacting me. I definitely don't want to, avail of your business, or they give you some work. So this is really simple, but an incredibly valuable tool. And ever since my sister Audrey shared this with me, I haven't once felt like I am short on leads or short on business, because I know if I feel that way, I go into the spreadsheet, I say, okay, this person, I haven't followed up with them for a few months, and I said I'd give them a call. Or, this person, I emailed them, but I really should give them a phone call. Or I gave them a call, but I should follow up with an email. Maybe they'd like a coffee. And if everyone is maxed out, which they never are, I can go and look up potential customers on LinkedIn and put them in as cold leads and then send that first message. So this is a really great resource. When I did this talk the last time, someone said that they were going to start using it as well for influencers. They work with a lot of influencers, and they were finding it a real hassle to chase them down. And this was a great way to just systemize that. So you stop feeling like, oh, I'm annoying people, and you just see it as a game, So we are powering on, because I know we don't have a huge amount of time left. So if you are, another source of work as well is eTenders, the public procurement website. If you haven't checked this out before, I'd encourage you to go in and just go and look at their notice search, which will show you all the government contracts that are available at this time. So, it could be toilet paper for the hospitals, or any sort of thing. There's all sorts of work that's contracted there. So if you are looking to expand your business, you can check that out. You can set up notifications there as well, and you can specify just your particular field, but that's just where you want to get notifications from. So that's a great resource. If you're in the not-for-profit sector, or if you're doing feasibility studies, that kind of thing, you can before I go on to that, if you are looking to tender, I'd encourage you to check out this e-learning program run by Bid Services. It's extraordinary. It's unbelievable that it's actually free. There's this guy who's just an expert on public procurement in Ireland, and he's put his life work into this series of YouTube videos. So if this is something you're interested in, go and check that out. I think Pauline's going to share the link to that. If you're in the not-for-profit sector, ActiveLink is a great spot, and you'll find loads of tenders there. If you click on summary view as well, it'll give you a nice little summary of what they're looking for. Okay, websites and social. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because I know that you've probably all done training in this area, and Leo run plenty of training courses in this space with experts. So I just say, if you haven't built a website yet and you're looking to do it yourself, these are all great platforms in which to do it. They're not free, but they're absolutely worth it. Not many people seem to be using WordPress these days. Wix and Squarespace seem to be the top dogs, and Shopify if you're doing merchandise. This is another great little resource, Website Grader. Hopefully Pauline can share the link there, but you can just go in, put in your website name, and it'll give you a score on how your website is performing in terms of SEO, your mobile performance, security, etc., and tips for how to improve it. There's also another link there as well to one if you just want to get a more detailed breakdown on your SEO performance. Google Analytics. If you're not set up there, I'd encourage you to go in, and you can get some great data on who's checking you out for how long, where are they from. Social media, obviously, again, there's plenty of training on this. I would just say, don't forget to create your company LinkedIn page. And so, hopefully Pauline will be sharing a link as well to instructions for how to do that. There are social media content management platforms, plenty of them available, and you, I think, often pay a subscription. But again, good old Excel, you can build your own content architecture plan in Excel. And I've sent you we're going to link a template to HubSpot as well, where they've already built one that you can just plug in your information for. And some miscellaneous last resources. So MailChimp is a great spot if you do email marketing. You can set up some really nice polished emails in there, and you can do a certain amount of that for free. Make sure you have added or claimed your business on Google. If you haven't done that, I'd go check out the instructions and make sure you set yourself up. If you are applying for a loan or doing anything for a bank, thinkbusiness.ie has a lot of templates created by Bank of Ireland. So I'd go in there and use theirs, because then you're speaking their language. If you're looking for some video editing software, DaVinci Resolve is a great place to go. Really high spec stuff and free. They make their money from their, kind of very sophisticated users who are looking for really, really high spec stuff. But that's a great free tool. HubSpot has a Make My Persona tool where you can create customer personas. If you're thinking about your marketing, I'd go in and check that one out. If you find that you have a very long link you need to shorten to send to someone, check out Bitly. You put in your link, hit shorten, and it'll give you like a tiny little URL. And then if you're looking for some project management software, if I'm running a project by myself, pen and paper still rule, but if there are other people involved, Asana and Trello are two great resources, and they're really easy to get set up on and free. So that's it. Are we in time? Just about.
Yes, we are. We're doing really well on time now, Aoife. Thank you so much for flying through those. We had a couple of comments, and I think they were answered either by yourself or by other people in the chat. There was a question about whether there was a version of is it Zobo for people with over 43,000 in turnover, and actually there was a response there from Sinead who is a business partner of Zobo, and she was saying you can have an account for 45 euros a month, and that would give you a CRM and a whole lot of different functions, data management and so on as well. So thanks a million for that, Sinead, for clarifying that in real time. And also,
yes, so there's all those other competitors I mentioned as well. So like QuickBooks and Xero, they will all have those paid platforms. I mentioned Zoho in particular just because it has that free version for people who are starting out.
And yeah, brilliant. There was a question about how to do a simple website, and you addressed that with some of the typical.
Yes, so I have mine on Wix. I know a lot of people rave about Squarespace, but they're all set up for lay people to go and build one. And it can take a little bit of time. You need to get familiar with things, but it's quite intuitive. And yeah, anyone with time can figure it out.
Brilliant. And this is just a question there. Could people access your slides? Is there a way for people to contact you, Aoife, if
sure.
I mean, this recording, obviously, this is going to be recorded and it'll be available through the National Women's Enterprise Day conference, but or website. But yeah, do you want to put up your email address there? Yeah.
This is my email address. I might just share it in the chat as well. So it's aoife@wemakeeverythingsimple.com. And if you go to my website, wemakeeverythingsimple.com, there's like a form there as well. If you forget, I'm going to type it in. aoife@wemakeeverythingsimple, and you short name.com.
That's absolutely brilliant, Aoife. I think you're obviously in the lucky position that you've set up your business, using all of these tools from the beginning, and because being aware of them from your previous jobs. So it's a great way to start. And I hope you all of you who participated here, we'd around 40 people for most of the session. I hope you all picked up a few tips that you can implement. I would recommend you go back through those, maybe copy and paste even the links from the chat here, and have a look at some of them, and get in contact with Aoife if you have any questions, or if you wanted to get access to any of the templates that she's talking about. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Aoife Salizzo of
My pleasure. Pauline, could I just give maybe 10 seconds for anyone who might have something that we missed today? It's always good to gather that information. And so if there's anyone here that finds something particularly useful that we haven't mentioned today, please throw it in the chat, so that we can all take advantage.
Very good. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Aoife. And thank you, everybody, for taking part. I hope you enjoy the rest of National Women's Enterprise Day. I think there's going to be a zesty, kind of energetic session there now from 1 on, and then back at 2 o'clock with talks right up until 5. So thank you so much, Aoife. Please enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and get involved in as much networking as you can, because there are 14 or 1500 people booked into today. So it's a great networking opportunity, as well as great for information. So thank you all. See you later, maybe at one of the other sessions.
Thank you. Bye-bye.